Took the win last week. Roy finished in 5th place. It was really, really competitive in the men's team competition. The Anzacs actually took the win from the Level Avengers, so it was ring. And well, he's been up and out on this Everesting climb, and we can talk a little bit about that later. Mark Dadson is here, Brett McMurtry, Scott Francis, who finished 3rd last week, Tim Connell, we've already seen him up towards the front of the race, but it's Luke Allport at the moment, still on the charge. That is a man whose level of fitness is through the roof at the moment, all in preparation for taking his spot. Adriano Zanaska, Ben Lee, Joshua Callangad, John Back, Robert Cronget, all on the start line today. In fact, you know what? 206 men in completion on the start line across 4 categories today. Phenomenal race field. Cridland, you can see there on the screen in front of you, part of race start. You need to have warmed up well. You need to be ready for it to hit hard, and you need to be ready for Luke here today. The Anzacs draft, level racing, and pro beginner all on the start sheets today, alongside 57 riders. And Van Veligum, who took the win last week in the August final. There's a fast flyer on the front here as well today, because who wants 500 meters flat if you can take it steady before you go up? And the front of this race field already around the bend, and Nick Cansara, Lewis Ridley, Santiago Velis, Felipe Marin, Wayne Smythe, all in the mix. But it's Mikel Zurek on the front at the moment. So Zurek and Moreno on the front. Absolutely flying to play. We go back at the beginning of each month, 2 qualifier 1, 2 qualifying races finished and verified for you to get into that monthly finale where the team competition comes into play. Everybody wants to be there because that's where the team competition is, and that's where the great racing is as well. So Van Veligum in category 3 from category 3 pack, much tighter matched than the front of the category 4 pack, who you can also see on the screen as one very long line of riders working their way up through the Flame Forge Abyss climb. So Nicholas Spratt now coming to the fore at the front of this category 3 race. Mikel Zurek, the rider who went off the front. New riders joining us week in, week out on the Sunday Race Club. 45 kilometres of racing for the men today. And this first climb at 6%, 3.9 kilometres in length. Climb at the end. It's the Everesting climb at the end today, but they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the Flame Forge Abyss climb. That's the one they're on at the moment. And Connell doing a phenomenal job right at the front of this race. He's not on the front, but he is marking the moves at the moment, making sure he's there or thereabouts. Fabulous positioning from Peter Connell. Nicole Cansara, Santiago Velez there as well. Nick Squilari, Rafael Amaro in the mix too. At the moment, you can see him there on the screen. And for our new viewers, you can see on the race course at the moment, on the list of names, Hagland highlighted in blue. You can see his stats on top of the screen. You can see his face on the bottom left. Great to be able to put faces to our avatars and for you week in, week out on the Sunday Race Club. You can follow your favourites in all of the race categories. The personalities really shine through in the racing. So Race Club in September, but this group riding really strongly, actually, looking like we've got a group of around 11 riders clear at the moment. Bogren just not making the cut there, and Callangad and McMurtry not either. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see whether any gaps established on this early climb can be brought back throughout the rest of the race, or whether within the first 5 kilometres that lead group has been established well and truly in this race. Now, Callangad in the mix here with McMurtry, with Calderon, and Winfield in this group too. So is Mountier, West, Roy. This group of Category 4 leaders pushing on nicely. So 11 riders coming towards the top of the climb. In fact, there you go. Take a look. That's the polka dot banner signifying the top of the first climb at the top together. Matt Smithson, Stefan Proust, Tim Connell, James Robinson, Kevin Horsley, Alex West, Justin Roy, James Mountier going over the top as well. Ben Lee is there, so is Jacques Russenek and Luke Allport. On our screen, top performances in 2024. You can see he's had some great performances through August, topping the category on those huge climbing courses, the Heritage Climb and the Yellow Feet. Well, back in with Category 3, they're 3.5 kilometres into, they're not even 10% done, but SS now pushing on Kansara, Connell, Squilari, East, the riders that are chasing, and SS is about to come up onto the back markers of the Category 4 race. So Carvajal, Medeiros, Schoberg strongly at the moment. Well, waiting in the start pens are Category 2 and Category 1. Category 2, we're going to see leave those pens first. 53 riders on the start sheets today in Category 2, and a number of teams, 8 in total. So the Al Wathbar QTR Pro Squad, the Goats, Lever NSA Racing, MyWhoosh Werewolves today. Away go Category 2. The lava is ahead of them. It's flowing down. And, well, they're not going to be going down. They're going to be going up. So up the first climb, 500 metres of flat. And then we go straight up now. The Category 2 race field. No one charging off the front, like 100 metres to come through into second place. Burke Kane, so the 2 Turkish riders finishing in second and third place, just 2 seconds separating the top 4 riders in Category 2 last week, with Christoph Thiem to round out the podium. Such strength and depth in Category 2. We see it week in, week out with some really, really strong performances. 1 minute 57 seconds separating the 2 teams, the Goats and the Wattage Warlocks. So a bigger time gap between the teams in Category 2 than in Category 3. Really interesting there today. Well, I might even be a little bit higher than our riders are climbing today, up at altitude here, but John from the USA is the rider on the move at the moment. They are now on the climb, the Flamme Forge Abyss climb, and it is John Brune who is pushing on at the front of this Category 2 race. James Krasnij, Alex Heaney, Carlos and Bruce Smithson, Allport, Mountier, Connell, Russenek, Roy. In fact, we had 9 riders leading that Category 4 race field at the top of the climb, all still together at the moment. Category 2, though, Brune's gone hard and gone early on this climb. They've got some way still to go, but John Brune really motoring and pushing his legs. Well, also motoring and pushing and testing the legs is SS in Category 3. There's 6.2 kilometres now. There is a 10-minute start difference between Category and close that gap and get back onto SS's wheel. Whilst Category 2 continue the climb, and take a look at that. The riders spread right across the road, indicating to me that they are all pretty much at a steady state. So back on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, it's fabulous to have him. Well, Category 1 are in the start pens, and we've got new riders on the start sheets as well in Category 1. So great to have riders, whether you've been with us for years or whether this is your first Sunday Race Club. A few teams joining us today, 3 in fact. Alpha Jaw are here, Hard to Guard, and the Venga Boys. Well, Hard to Guard did indeed take the away go Category 1. We're in with Joselle Betty at the moment. The pack rolling strongly out the start pen. Now, Osborne taking first place last week from Hard to Guard. His teammate Michael Knudsen taking third. Ollie Jones from Alpha Jaw took a great second place last week. Seb Dvert, first time on the podium, took fourth from the Venga Boys. That was phenomenal. Hayden Pucker is with us today. Bjorn Andrea, Dot Banner, as part and parcel of that Category 1 pack, and on to that first climb today. Already up and out the saddle because the gradient, over 5%. So Nair, Vujasin, Kaminsky, Jacobs, Plantero, Paradians, Ritter, Troju on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Nikito up the front with Van Els. Van Els has been riding really, really strongly recently. His form is superb. Johan Noren, another rider that we can never discount when there's a lot of climbing. In fact, all of these riders really now starting to come into form. As we mentioned, the semi-finals of the to qualify for the World Championship finals at the end of October. But I say but because it is likely that every single rider you see in this Category 1 race on X, you can follow and subscribe to their YouTube channel or to Twitch TV, and obviously get notifications of when the broadcasts go live. But you need to be there because the racing is going to be exceptional. Over 130 men will indeed take to the start line for the semi-finals. Lewis Ridley is there as well. They're at 10.2 kilometres into the race, and you can see the gradient. Lots of little kickers on this course. The women were also on the MyWhoosh World today. Head over to the YouTube channel and click and watch the women's race. They too were the first time out on the MyWhoosh World. A little bit of a Category 3 really broken up, but this is a big group of riders. So it's looking like Nicholas Spratt about 6 seconds up the road. So Spratt seeming to have pushed on for a bit of a breakaway there in Category 3. Forge Abyss climb, there it is. It really hits you as you come through that stone archway. And the Category 2 riders now coming through, and Niall Batty setting a phenomenal time at the moment in terms of being at the front of that race. Now, I'm just having a quick scroll. To me, 19 riders in the leading group of Category 2 riders at the top of the first climb. A much bigger group in Category 2 than we saw in, well, X100, Millerstick, all in the mix there. Batty is there, Fawcett is there, Coinston and Biarhead, Winfield, El Alami and Walter. So that's going to be a really tight battle in Category 2. It's already a tight battle in Category 1. Wow, they are absolutely motoring up this early. Riders, a small gap, 3 riders. They're closing it down. They do not want to let them go. This is the moment. This is where you've got to push on, because this is motoring now towards the top. You do not want to let the gaps go. You don't even want to let there be a blink of a second. The fight is on to stay on the back wheel of this group, because two battling it out in the semi-finals. I don't know what we are going to see, because the 2 Polish riders really, really strong, and strong on the Sunday Race Club as well. Ollie Jones, Stefan Van Els, Jason Osborne, Michael Knudsen, Seb Dvert in here, Ricardo Panizza. In fact, Dvert and Panizza now being distanced. Borman's being distanced as well. So is Jacobs. This is phenomenal pace. Take a look to they're into the rolling cave. This is a really interesting section, of course, because take a look at the profile on the top right hand corner of your screen. It's constantly rolling, it's constantly bumpy. Whether you're going up or down, it's steep. 7%, 1%, 4%, up, down, up, down. It continues to roll. Match group, Tattoo Coinston is in there. Jonas Biarhead, Winfield, El Alami, Fawcett, Millerstick, X100. These are the riders I would expect to see in there. Carlos Ospina, never discount Carlos Ospina or Ivan Nuki. Really, really strong and tactically brilliant. Well, Panizza and Seb Dvert looking like they are off the pace. The best ever so far on the Sunday Race Club on this climb of 8 minutes 14 seconds, 0.899. Vujasin, Van Elst, Osborne, Jones, Kaminsky, all within 1.4 seconds. Kroll, Panizza, well, 7 riders at Kroll. Panizza 19 seconds back with Dvert up and over that climb. Category 2 riders continuing to push on, having moved now through the rolling climb. So now leading the Category 2 race. They were just coming up for 10 kilometres of racing. At 18 kilometres of racing, 18 kilometres further down than the Category leaders, are the lead on the road at the moment, who are not the rest of the pack who have dropped, but were great to see that 4 pack really starting to move, and confirmation that 11 riders are leading Category 4 race. Behind them, we can see the Category 3 race field. They're moving strongly. continue to transition through the coloured arena. That is continuing through a very, very technically challenging course today. Get that start pen into the 100-meter mark, onto that Flamforge Abyss climb, dropping down the other side through the rolling cave section. Really, really was a rolling cave section with gradients of around 7 or category 2, continuing move. Cam Winfield now at the front of the group with Phil Graves, Ross Fawcett, James Heaney, James Krasnich, all in the mix. Peter Milostic, X100, Ospina, and Ivan Nuki is still there too. It's still a huge group, and we said 18 riders in category 2, continuing to work and work strongly. Going to see this group change. I think we're going to see this group of 18 riders come through that section together. It's only category 4 riders at the moment who are through that Shroom Grove climb. Category 3 on that section as well. Ross Fawcett now, part and parcel of this leading category 2 group, resplendent in that stolen goat jersey. Great to see him putting in some phenomenal performances and really starting to come back into form on this category 2 race. And well, I was going to say this should be a course that suits him. Riding, no, we're not letting him go. I am going to do the chasing. Jump on, guys. Let's go. Let's catch him. Well, Phil Graves also picking up the mantle, but just taking a toe, like Ivan Nuki and Jonas Bjarhead, not wanting to do all the work. I'm very happy to let Millerstick take up the mantle. Well, there is Ivan Nuki, coaches at that in the mix with Ospina and Walter Koinstinen, just a little bit further back, but Heaney, Krasnich, El Alami, all in this group. Well, Phil Graves closing the gap down, and this is a downhill section at the moment where the damage is being done. Never assume on the Sunday Race Club it's only hard uphill. That category 2 race. Phil Graves now on the front, pushing on strongly. And we can see now, if you look at the top right hand corner of the screen, the gradient at the moment on that graphic, it really showing you rolling through these rolling sections through the woodlands, really short, sharp and steep drive to finish, and thinking, wow, what have we already done in the first 15 kilometers? But the category 3 riders are 20 kilometers into this race. Well, the Eco City around 50 kilometers an hour as Squilari picks up the towel and just mops his brow. I'm not surprised. It's hot work and hard work being in any of the leading groups, whichever category you are in here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We are in the MyWhoosh world. It's Sunday the 1st of September. Oh, I can't. You can see him on the screen as well at the moment. The effort going in here. Nearly 40 minutes of racing for category 4 as they go past the waterfall, but there's no one looking at that waterfall because Ben Lee, Luke Allport, Stefan Proust, Matt Smithson, James Robinson, Alex West, James Mountier and Justin Roy, Jacques Russenek, all in that leading group, watching what they're doing, concentrating on what they're doing and making sure they are not losing a wheel. Well, gradient does change quite dramatically, uphills, downhills, and you really do need to pay attention. You lose the wheel, you have a problem. And at the moment, this pack just regrouping at a steadier state. Well, they're not at a steadier state in category 3. Nick Scolari still on the front. SS just closing him down and bringing, well, I was going to say bringing the group with him, but the group quite content. And it's looking like Nicholas Spratt really wanting to keep the pace hard. Well, wanting to keep the pace hard in category 2. They're on the Shroom Grove climb, and it's Cam Winfield. Oh, it's fabulous to have the young rider back on the Sunday Race Club and showing us what he can do. He's driving the category 2 race field up that climb. There were 18 of them at the bottom. And talking about being far off, I think that's 5 riders, 6 riders that I see. It's going to be interesting to see how many riders have made the cut into that category 1 leading group. My prediction has already been selective. group, that leading group, quite tight together. It's going to be interesting to see whether X100 can close that gap down. But Jean-Bert, I think, has gone. Freddie Gombert out the back of the race. Bendetti as well. So that makes it down to 16. If X100 could get back on, that stays at 16. He closed that gap down. At my count, that's 16 riders now. Well, actually, she says, oh, I got it wrong. Okay, I'm going to own up there. It's not 16 riders. It's 14. 14 riders now in category 2 leading group after the Shroom Grove climb. 6 riders at the 16.6 kilometre mark. They're going to go underneath that polka dot banner indicating the start of the Shroom Grove climb. 1.5 kilometres, an average gradient of 3.3%. 6 riders clear at the front of category 1. Oh, the descent catch. Winston, Fawcett, El Alami, Biarhead, Newquay, Winfield,